Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video we're going to look at a science fiction book. I don't know if I've covered science fiction yet on this channel. I do read the occasional science fiction book. This book came to me because I remembered the 1975 film that played on Disney, which is the reason I remember it. Even though I'm an 80s kid, it was still playing. I also remember the 1995 remake, but you can't find that. It's disappeared. It's similar to, if you've seen my video on, what was it? Freaky Friday, where the Disney Channel movie, in between the two that I reviewed, has disappeared. But I remember this film. When I went looking, it turns out it's based on a book by a man by the name of Alexander Key, and it came out in 1965, I think. Checking the Wikipedia page here. No, 68. So the film actually sticks pretty close to the book. So it starts off with these two kids, brother and sister, being taken out of this house in a very bad neighborhood. I don't know if it specifies whether they're in New York or where. And they're being put into foster care. So you find out just from the very harsh caseworker that the woman they had been living with was not their grandmother. It's a woman they knew as their grandmother, but that she was just someone who was looking after them, and they were immigrants. So these kids have powers. That's what makes this science fiction. So that's, you kind of know their background. They're being basically taken to a children's home. The little girl does not speak out loud. She speaks to her brother through their minds, though they have to be able to physically see each other. So she also turns out she can talk to animals. Find that out a little bit later. She also has a star box, where it's the only thing they have from their childhood. And she remembers a little bit of their grandfather and them being on a ship and all sorts of things and how he died. But her brother doesn't really remember anything. He's the one who can talk. He has telekinesis, so he can move things with his mind really well, and he's used it to protect himself. In fact, the caseworker mentions he's gotten into fights, probably just defending himself. So they're taken to this children's home. They're separated. They lock up the box because, again, they think it's going to be stolen. The people watching them don't really understand what the heck it is. They're just not going to take it from the kids. And the brother does carry knives. Like, you have to get these up. So he's sent to the kids' dormitory. He's kind of beaten up a little bit by one of the boys. But the next day, that same boy takes the Starbucks from his sister. And so they're able to get it back. But he essentially gets into a fight with him and hurts the guy because he's telekinetic. And he doesn't actually get into that much trouble with it. Possibly because the person in the house knows he's a bully. He's taken away he's taken away to the hospital. He doesn't actually get that much trouble. So they're trying to figure out what to do because they have to get out of here. They're trying to get to somewhere else, and they don't quite know where. Well, shortly thereafter, they're taken to a little camp that's just outside of town. It's just kind of a little pond, and they're there for about a week. And on their way out, they meet a nun. And this nun mentions that there's been somebody going around looking for children with special powers. She's an old woman, but she mentions somewhere called Witch Mountain. And they try to get in contact with her. Unfortunately, she shortly thereafter dies. But then this man shows up. And he's claiming to be their uncle. But the daughter, what are their names? Luckily, I'm calling them boys and girls. They have names. It's Tony and Tia are their names. So, however, Tia sees him and she remembers him. It's like, no, we can't go with him. So they have to escape, along with apparently the cat that Tia's adopted. That's when she starts talking to animals. So they escape and they go to the priest who had helped them before when they were younger and was in their community. And let's see, what is his name here? So let's see. Where are they? I can find what his name is. And yeah, Father O'Day. So they go to him, and he wants to help them. And he finds out some kind of information. He agrees to give them the money, put them on a bus to get them to this area, and they figure out where it is. So, and go to this town. He has friends there. So he sends them there. Unfortunately, there are people looking for them. And at one stop, they're caught by a cop who decides to lock them up. And because they're being paid a lot of money to hold on to these kids and deliver them to the gentleman who is looking for them. Let's see if I can remember where the name is. Let's see. No, not giving me the name of the Darian. It looks like it. I can't pronounce it. It's a little bit longer. So basically, he's out of Washington, D.C. He's paying a lot of money to get these kids. So, however, Tony uses his telekinesis to get them out. Fortunately, his sister also insists on releasing these bears who've been emaciated and abused by these people. Because small country town, they release the bears and the kids have to escape. All of a sudden, there's witch crazy. And they're like, the kids are crazy. He made a coat dance and freaked people out, and they were able to get out of locked doors and get their stuff, and they freaked people out, and they released these bears. So they're running off, hiding in the woods, trying to stay away from people. The bears are periodically following them because the bears are trying to get back into the woods because bears. And they finally reach the house they're supposed to be at, but again, the family is not there. They're on vacation, and basically they're trapped because the people who are chasing them find them. Eventually, Father O'Day has followed them up there. He's able to get in touch with Tony. I think it's in his mind, and they're able to get with him. And so he takes them. They go camping over the night. He's able to feed them and help them get cleaned up because they hadn't really eaten much of anything in a couple days. So they're very, very hungry and very, very tired. So they're able to rest with him. And they're trying to get to Witch Mountain. And they have found out, they go to a post office, they find out a little bit of information about this, how these people, and this is what they remember. So some of this is coming from both Tia and Tony's memories. So Tony is remembering what happened. They were in a spaceship. They are from another planet. They are aliens. But they were caught up in the Hungarian-Soviet Revolution. And basically their spaceship got shut down and the kids' parents died. And while they were escaping, the grandfather was shot, only he didn't realize it. Their planet was dying. So they'd already sent people away to basically stake out Earth and find a place. So they already had a settlement waiting. It's just basically the rest of refugees were coming. And so they were getting on the boat. The grandfather dies. He tells them all this information. And then, of course, the children are freaked out. They're very, very young. I think Tia, they don't want to specify that they're very little. Tia's like maybe 3 or 5, and Tony's not much older. So eventually they're taken by this guy who's now currently chasing them, dropped off. They're refugee children. It's the time period, again, this book came out in like 68, so this is probably the 50s or 60s when this is actually happening. So he just drops them off randomly with this woman, and now he realizes, wait a minute, people are offering a lot of money for these kids. For some reason, you never really find out who's the big bad in here. So it's just kind of ominous who's paying these people to get a hold of these kids, or the fact that they realize they're aliens. So the kids kind of figure out what this is. They find out a little bit of information about Witch Mountain and how this man had come down there and lived there. He was going by the name of Castaway. And that's the name they found out, I think, from the nun. So, and then they find out that this group basically bought up all the land around them, and they were going by a different name. So Tony basically is able to get to a phone, and he calls this think, what on earth is it called here? Um, Basically, this group. So he's able to get this know because this is who owns essentially Witch Mountain. And he calls and he says, "My name is Tony." And "My name is Tony Castaway." And they're like, "We've been looking for you and your sister. What's going on? Where are you?" It's like, "Okay, I'm in this phone booth in this town nearby." And basically they said, we've been looking for you for a while. When we heard basically on the news about which children's, like, okay, now they're driving around the area looking for the kids because they want them, because again, this is their family and their people, because aliens, humanoid looking aliens. So they talk to Tony. It's like, "Okay, we're going to get you out. Trust us." And he follows kind of their instructions. Eventually they get back in the car. He gets back in the car with the Father O'Day and Tia and this cat. He has to stop to pick up the cat that Tia's adopted, and apparently he's told by his own people, like, "Yes, rescue the cat. That's fine." And so they drive off down a road. They're being followed by the bad guys, who are also being followed by the good guys. And then all of a sudden the children get out and they run up this hill, which is what they're told to do. They say goodbye. They leave everything behind except for the cat. And a flying saucer shows up and the kids are standing there. The next thing they know, they're gone. And basically, bad guys see the alien children taken away. Reality is they're probably just going back on the mountain. But you don't see that. And then they interact with Father O'Day, who pretty much threatens to knock them out if they don't go away. And then he kind of drives to watch the sunset. And it's implied that he will find the children later because he had helped them. So that is the end of this book. It's actually very good. It's a good science fiction book. It's not too long, and I write it in ebook form. It's very, very old. It mentions the Hungarian-Soviet Revolution. So that's the time period. It's very simple. You do not find out what happens to the children. They disappear, and that's it. Now, there technically is a second book, but it's based on the Disney's film, where Tony and Tia are older, and you have Return from Witch Mountain. They're going, why did they drop them off somewhere in LA for a vacation alone? It makes no sense. But that is Disney's creation, and the author wrote basically a book adaptation of that. So it's not his original work. So this is a standalone science fiction novel. It is very, very good. There's not a lot by the author still available, though the books, I looked because I liked the book. It's good, it's fun, it's not too dark, it's relatively short. So it's a good introduction to science fiction. The aliens are not very alien, they're children, and they're humanoid, which is common in this author's book, in his books. And there's always a sense of hope. So these are happy books. So there's always a sense that these people are able to go off where they need to be. And they're not evil, and there's not a sad ending, which always appeals to me. So that really is it for this review. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. Oh, one more mention. Age range. Probably late elementary, middle school. There's not enough in here for this to be all that dark. It's probably a good science fiction book to read to kids. So any range between, depending on reading level, late elementary, high school. I enjoyed it. I'm an adult. So, again, that's it. So, like and subscribe if you like what you see. I'll probably try to cover a little bit more science fiction. I do a lot of fantasy. I do a lot of children's picture books. I do various films. I am going to cover the Escape from Witch Mountain film, the older one. I can't find the 1995, and I'm not sure this weird thing that's showing up. Race to Witch Mountain, which looks very, very bizarre, and I think contains Dwayne Johnson. So, yeah. Probably not going to cover that, maybe. But I'm going to recover the original film. So, like and subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.